We're gonna do a late night driving and talking some business. You know what's crazy about something is I don't see any books about this, and the ones I do that are kind of similar, they don't tell you the real stuff about business communication. They talk about, how to send a good email and all that stuff, but they never talk about the really dark, ugly side of a workplace, right? I don't know why that is. But I'm thinking about actually writing a book about that, and there might be a reason. I might run into it and find out. Oh, well, maybe turn off some clients or something. There's got to be possibly a reason. It's not that grand of a concept, right? Like you have the 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene, who talks about all the ways that you can be manipulated and people's psychology and stuff like that. But I wish they would tell, especially our youth, what they're getting into when they go in the workforce, because it takes so much time to kind of like pick up the dynamics of a workplace. What do I mean by that? Like, let's say that you have just signed on to some like tech company, right? And you're like a graphic designer or something like that. Let's just say, for instance. And so you don't really know the ropes. You don't really know how things work. You really just assume the hardest part of my job is going to be my job. But I'm going to tell you this straight up, that the hardest part of your job when you enter, especially when you enter a new job and you're the new person, is going to be internal. It's going to be your own people around you. And what I mean by that is you don't have friends. There's no such thing as work friends. Some have to be very careful with who you call a friend, right? But there's also another issue, is if you're too standoffish and you're an introvert, you can get passed up. It's a very, very fine skill that you have to learn. It's like crucial to learn to get ahead. You want those promotions, you want to be a manager, you want to level up. Merit alone is not gonna do it. As much as we say you just gotta work hard and everything will take care of itself, it's not. You're hanging on by a thread of the person above you that is overseeing you. So one of the things is, they say, like in Robert Greene's book, the number one law is don't outshine the master. That is so true. You can't do that, because you have to think from your manager's perspective. Like, what is your job? What do you think your job is? I told you you're a graphic designer. Do you think that's your job? That's your second job. Your first job is to make your manager look good. That's your number one job. And by being better than them, you're not making them look good. At first you are. Like when you come in, you're reliable. You show up on time. You do all that kind of stuff. You're making them look good. You're delivering on your work. You're proving that to the CEO, indirectly through your manager, that they make good hires. You are a good hire. But over time, you're going to develop a pattern, right? And this is why people get frustrated at work and say, "Oh, I don't have any upward mobility," because they figured it out. They figured out that how dare they try to be better than their leader, or possibly they don't have the confidence to try to, or maybe they just don't, and the manager really is better. But there's a lot of people out there that are very motivated, and they make this mistake, and so it's like that's why with recruiters, it bothers me a lot when they say, like, "Oh, this person's bouncing around." Like, you don't know why. There's a lot of good reasons why somebody might do that. Yeah, some people get constantly fired and stuff like that, but there's a lot of the times it's like, somebody will get let go because they simply got on the wrong person's radar. And the other thing is, like, like the light that shines bright, it's going to attract attention. And there's going to be people out there, for whatever reason, when you shine bright, it activates a jealousy from people, and envy. It activates it immediately. And now all of a sudden, you got to be very careful about what you do and what you say. So, I would say, if we're going to say, what is the first lesson here when you get in? Be on time. Don't overdo things. Don't try to make that impression. You're going to find your time. It's not from the gate, though. Don't ever try to one up, your leader there. Okay.